Now, if it's okay with you guys, on the way up towards our next stop, Westminster Pier, I'd like to stand here with you and share with you a live commentary. We do have a pre-recorded commentary system that can do that, but we get much better feedback when a member of crew like myself stands here and does it. So is that okay with everybody? Yeah. Okay, I must warn you, I'm not a professional tour guide, I'm just a member of crew. So if I do get anything wrong, just feel free to keep it to yourself. We'll start off over on the left. We have the HMS Belfast, built in the same dockyard as the ill-fated Titanic. She was launched in 1939. She's now permanently moored here on her anchor chains and added extra to the Imperial War Museum. There's 6 guns or turrets to the front and 6 guns or turrets to the rear, capable of shooting a 14-pound shell up to 13 nautical miles. Now, if you're not sure on how far a nautical mile is, now the man or the architect who designed the Shard, a man named Renzo Piano, he was offered £2 million for his architectural designs. However, he said no, I would like the penthouse suite at the top. Wow. He later sold that penthouse suite for £30 million, so a very clever man indeed. To the right, you'll see some of London's new builds. The cheese grater, the walkie-talkie and the gherkin. Don't ask me who come up with these names, I have no idea. But what I do know is if you look to the top of the walkie-talkie building there, the first one you'll see some people up there. There is a sky garden, a free viewing platform here in the city.
I like that.
It's like
this level.
Now, does anybody know what the bridge in front of us is called? It's London Bridge, one of the most famous bridges in the world. This is the 5th bridge to have spanned this spot, opened by Queen Elizabeth II in 1962. Other bridges have either fallen down, they've burned down, or they've been taken down. The last bridge to stand here was taken down brick by brick to stop the Great Fire of London from spreading from the north of the river on the right to the south of the river on the left. If you look to the right now, in between the buildings, you will see a golden flame, or the monument, put here to commemorate all of those lost in the Great Fire of London.
Where's the monument?
Now take a look either side of the boat now. On the bottom of the bridge, you will see chains along the bridge footing. These chains give you something to grab onto if you happen to fall in. I wouldn't recommend it, but that's what they do. One for the children over on the left. We have a pirate ship, or Sir Francis Drake's replica of the Golden Hind. Now, Sir Francis Drake was a licensed pirate who would go around the world stealing gold. Now, this pirate ship is permanently moored here. It's been around the world. It's been around the world itself twice, and it's free for you to go and visit. There's a pub next door for the adults, so everybody wins.
Is he even looking?
Now, we're about to pass under the Cannon Street railway station. Many years ago, the station itself was surrounded by glass. However, during the Blitz in the 60s, the glass was taken down to protect it and sent out to a place called Essex behind us. Now, unfortunately, one of the first places to be bombed during the Blitz was the warehouse in Essex where that glass was kept. But some of it still remains today on the right. Just underneath the bridge, you'll see some glass windows. It's one of London's 5-star luxurious spas. Now let me tell you folks, before you look, some days the views are a lot better than others. Some days you're going to wish you never looked. Take a look at the water either side of the boat now. You'll see the tide moving around the base of the bridge. The tide can move up to 6 miles per hour here on the River Thames, and it can rise up to 7.5 meters in height. So very fast and high indeed. To the left, you'll see one of mine and the captain's favourite places, the Anchor Bankside. There's been a pub here since the 1600s. We spend a lot of time in this place. You'll also see the... Now, if you're looking to play on some of our finest beaches here in London, take a look across to the right. We call this one the South Bank Riviera. If you want to play around in broken glass and needles, then by all means, head over. Now on the left, you'll see a New Zealand warship, the HQS Wellington. Now it used to patrol the Pacific coastline. Now it is a floating livery hall for the Master Mariners. Now what that means is a drinking club for any captain who has been at sea for 15 years or more. We are now leaving the city of Westminster and we are entering the city of London. Temple Arch on the left-hand side here is the boundary point. If you look closely, you will see two silver griffins or dragons on the land. Now these dragons are meant to keep evil spirits from entering the city of London. Now I'm not sure how true that is because my mother-in-law, she walks through this stretch of the River Thames every single day. Give the building on the right a wave, the white building you see there, give it a wave. That's the ITV News Studios. So give them a wave, you might find yourself live on the news.
Okay.
Hopefully you're not with someone you're not meant to be with. That'd be very awkward. So we'll give them a wave anyway, be blended. Also on the right hand side, you'll see the Oxo Tower, the red brick building here. Now this was looked after by the Vestry family who created the Oxo Gravy Granule Cube. It is now a 5-star restaurant at the top and luxury unaffordable housing in the middle. It was a power station for the post office many years ago. Now as we make our way downriver here on the Thames, you will see on the left-hand side many construction sites like this one. Now currently, directly underneath the boat, they are digging out a £1 billion super sewer system. It's created thousands of new jobs here on the Thames as the population has grown from around 1 million to nearly 10 million people here in London. A new sewer system has been needed to be built. Now the project itself is around 2 to 3 years behind schedule. And if you'd like to know why, just take a look across to the left. Absolutely nothing is going on. Everybody's got a weekend. Now the two closest bridges we're going to pass under on our trip today is the Blackfriars Road and the Blackfriars Rail Bridge ahead of us. The North Sea is 60 miles in front of the boat now. If you take a look at the columns on either side of the bridge, you will see birds at the top. Freshwater birds on this side and seafaring birds on the other mark the 60-mile boundary.
Oh,
They also call this the Tunnel of Love. They say if you kiss the one you love as you pass through, it will bring you 7 years of happiness.
Are you ready?
So don't hold back. If you're not with the one you love, you can kiss your husband and your wife, or your wife. If you've got any single ladies on board, I'm available on the open top deck. Now as we clear the bridge on the left-hand side, you'll see Sir Christopher Wren's masterpiece, St Paul's Cathedral. It took 35 years to build St Paul's, costing a mere £75,000. Now the cathedral is 365 foot high, easy to remember as 1 foot for every day of the year. If you climb the 500 steps to the top, you will come to a 360-degree viewing platform.
I bet you this video is
now there is a charge to climb and go up to St Paul's. However, I'll give you a tip.
This type of video will be online.
If you go there on a Sunday, it's free.
You never know. You have an idea.
Over on the right-hand side of the boat, you'll see the former Bankside Power Station, now the Tate Modern, one of the most visited modern art galleries in the world. Over 5 million people a year visit it. Do we have any modern art fans on board? If you know anything about modern art, you will understand why it is free and it is open to all. If you're looking for something to do though, I'd highly recommend visiting. We're about halfway through the trip now, folks. Can I just check, is everybody enjoying the live commentary? Okay, I'll continue. Over to the right-hand side, you'll see a white round building with a thatched roof. Now this is Shakespeare's Globe Theatre, a replica of the original. Now it's one of the only buildings in London to have a thatched roof, as these became illegal after the Great Fire of London. You can watch live entertainment in the globe from April until September for as little as £5. For those of you that are old enough to know, you can't even buy beer in London anymore for less than £5. So for live entertainment, very good value for money. Talking of beer, over on the left-hand side of the boat, just underneath the next bridge we're going to pass under, you'll see a building with 4 columns. This is Vintner's Place.
Oh, that one.
Now in here they have the worst job in the world. They try and test all of the alcohol before it goes in to our country's shops. A few of you are on my wavelength here. Imagine that, folks, getting paid 5 days a week to get absolutely hammered. What a terrible job that would be. That's Vintner's Place over there. Now as we pass through the Southwark Road Bridge, look either side of the boat at the bottom of the bridge. You'll see chains along the water. Now these chains are here, they give you something to grab onto if you happen to fall in. I wouldn't recommend it, but that's what they're there. True. To the right, you'll see the newspaper, the Financial Times headquarters, where the Globe Theatre used to stand. You'll also see mine and the captain's favourite place, the pub, or the Anchor at Bankside. There's been a pub here since 1620. Shakespeare himself used to get changed in the basement. Now we spend a lot of time in the Anchor at Bankside, and we conduct research for the commentary that we provide to you. And let me tell you, folks, we spend a lot of time in here, and the research, it goes on, and it goes on, and it goes on for a very long time. Now one for the children on the right-hand side, you will see a pirate ship coming into view.
Oh, oh.
Now this is
Whoa,
the
look at
Golden
that.
Hind, Sir Francis Drake's replica of the original. Now Sir Francis Drake was a licensed pirate who would go around the world stealing gold. This replica has been around the world twice, and it's permanently moored here for you to go and visit. There's a pub next door for the adults, so everybody wins. But it's permanently moored here. I'd highly recommend going to see the Golden Hind. Looking in the sky on the right-hand side, you'll see one of the tallest buildings in Western Europe, the Shard, or the Shard of Glass. It's 1,017 foot high, 95 stories. It was designed by an Italian man called Renzo Piano, who was offered £2 million for his architectural design. However, he said, no, I would like the penthouse suite at the top. He later sold his penthouse suite for a whopping £30 million. So a very clever man indeed. This is one of the most famous bridges in the world, London Bridge, opened by Queen Elizabeth II in 1962. It's the 5th bridge to have spanned this spot. Other bridges have either fallen down, they've been taken down, or you may have heard of the nursery rhyme, London Bridge is burning down or falling down. Look to the left now, you'll see the monument in between the buildings, the Golden Flame, put here to commemorate all of those lost in the Great Fire of London. If you lay the flame down 212 feet to the east, it would lie directly on Pudding Lane, where the Great Fire began many years ago.
Wow. I love this.
Now we have the London Bridge Hospital over on the right hand side. It specialises in heart attacks. Now no matter if you've had a heart attack or not, if you go to the London Bridge Hospital, when you get the bill, you will have a heart attack. Now coming into view, you may not see her in all of her camouflage, but we have the HMS Belfast. She's permanently moored here on her anchor
That's a wedding, innit?
and adding extra to the Imperial
Oh, just a party.
War Museum.
Might be a walk there.
You think so? Looks like a
Now the
wedding party to
HMS
me.
Belfast, it was built in the same dockyard
Where is
as
it?
the
Where is it?
ill-fated
Oh.
Titanic. And it was launched in 1939. There's 6 guns or turrets to the front and 6 guns or turrets to the rear, capable of shooting a 13-pound shell up to 14 nautical miles. Now if you're not sure on how far a nautical mile is, I'll tell you. It's about half a nautical mile short of where my mother-in-law lives, which is not far enough. But she's permanently moored here. It will take you 2 to 3 hours to make your way all around the ship. I would highly recommend it. Over to the left, you'll see some of London's new builds. The cheese grater, the walkie-talkie, and the gherkin. Don't ask me who come up with these names.
It's about 2 million, 3 million.
No idea.
Don't worry,
Now the
you
captain,
get there.
he's in a good mood today. So what he's going to do, he's going to take us down near Tower Bridge, and he's going to turn the boat around. So you'll get a great photo opportunity when he does.
We'll take a picture then, yeah?
Ah, yeah. Let's take a photo.
Now just behind the HMS Belfast here on the right hand side, you'll see a oval shaped building known as City Hall. This is the London Mayor's office
This is for
here
for
in
Zach.
the city.
Okay.
Now somebody was paid £1 million to change the name from County Hall, and they came up with City Hall. So a very easy day's work indeed. But it was designed by Sir Norman Foster. It was Boris Johnson's idea. It's meant to replicate a cyclist's helmet. Now as we turn the boat around, you will see the most photographed bridge in the world, Tower Bridge. Opened in 1894. She's 127 years old. Now the middle part of the bridge lifts up into 2, and it allows big ships in and out of this stretch of the River Thames. Now if anybody on board has a boat big enough, you can lift the bridge free of charge. You simply need to let the captain of the bridge know 24 hours in advance, and they will lift it for
I
you.
don't like smiling videos.
Now there's only one day of the year in which Tower Bridge will not open. Does anybody know which day that is?
Nice.
It's not Christmas Day, it's not Easter, it's not New Year's Eve. It's the day of the London Marathon. This is part of the route through the city. Now some say if they did open the bridge, it might make the race a little bit more interesting, or our jobs a little harder. Now the stone in which Tower Bridge was made out of is meant to replicate the Tower of London over here on the right. Now this was built in 1086 by William the Conqueror, and it's been many things over the years. It's been a royal palace, it's been a mint, it's even been a zoo. On selected days, children can visit the Tower of London for as little as £1. So very good value for money indeed. Now a common question we get asked is, where is the bloody tower? My only answer to that, folks, is if you look across to the right, it's behind the bloody trees. Now we're gradually going to make our approach towards our next stop, which is Tower Pier, just here. Just to get everyone's full attention, as we are making our approach, please do remain seated until we are safely alongside the pier, and then you can. Travel information: this boat will remain alongside the pier for 5 to 10 minutes. Pick up a few passengers. I know many of you are getting off here. The next stop for this boat will be Greenwich behind us. Now that is about a 30-35 minute trip. I know many of you are getting off here. You can pick up the London Big Bus Tour and the Underground station up by the main road. And finally, just to finish up, a little bit about the live commentary. As mentioned at the start, and as you can probably tell, I am not a professional tour guide. I'm just a member of crew on board here for your safety. But it's a bit of an old tradition for someone like myself to come out here and provide a live commentary. I'm not trained to do it. Anything I tell you, I've picked up myself. And we get much better feedback when we deliver a live commentary. Hopefully it's made your trip a little bit more enjoyable today. If you have enjoyed the trip and you'd like to show a token of your appreciation, you can do so at the exit gate. We put out our captain's silver champagne tip bucket. You can chuck in there anything you like. Of course, it's completely up to you. You can chuck in there a couple of bob. Now, if you're not sure on what a couple of bob is, I'll tell you. It's any loose change you may have, 10s, 20s, 50s, wallets, wedding rings, bank cards, single girls' phone numbers, you name it, we take it. Hopefully you've enjoyed the trip, and thank you very much for listening. Have a nice day here Thank you.
I'm gonna change, but amazing. Cool.
2 to 3 hours to make your way all around the ship. I would highly recommend it. Over to the left, you'll see some of London's new builds. The cheese grater, the walkie-talkie,
imagine living
and the
here,
gherkin.
like-
Don't ask me who come up with these
It's about
names.
2 million.
I've
3
got
million.
no idea.
Don't worry,
Now the
you
captain,
get there.
he's in a good mood today. So what he's going to do,
I
he's going to
would
take
love
us
to live
down
in
near Tower Bridge, and he's going to turn the boat around. So you'll get a great photo opportunity when he does.
Take a picture then, yeah?
Ah, yeah.
Now just behind the HMS Belfast here on the right hand side, you will see a oval shaped building known as City Hall. This is the London Mayor's office here in the city.
Okay.
Now somebody was paid £1 million to change the name from County Hall, and they came up with City Hall. So a very easy day's work indeed. But it was designed by Sir Norman Foster. It was
London's history, including its famous themes like Sweeney Todd and Jack the Ripper.
What I was trying to say was...
We're approaching our next stop at Waterloo Pier. Please remain seated until the boat stops moving. If Waterloo Pier is your destination, be sure to take all your belongings with you and return your audio guide to a member of the crew. Thank you for choosing City Cruises.
We'll pass now. Yeah, we'll just go to we'll drive from Tower to what's it called? To the restaurant. So what was I trying to say, Joe? So basically, what you're looking at here is I am that man, yeah, and you are like my phone, yeah. Two kids in it. So eventually, after the whole struggle, I was like, so she can call me and listen, I need this, and I'll you know. But if you think you want to take it by force, there's ways out of it. You know what I'm trying to say? Nobody had to teach me, I just had to use my own brain to say, actually, if I do this, if I do like that. You know, children staying in your house for one night alone reduces.
Yeah, well, 52 nights a week, a month, yeah. Over 52.
I said this is not medicine. I'm not saying it's
But
not
it was this solicitor who told me, she said, if
okay, to pick up and it's going to go down.
yeah, so she said if he doesn't want to, he's actually asking for 50%. He doesn't even talk to me. You know, you apply for CMS to protect yourself. And that's what I did.
Here's another thing. I'm not here to try and remove it. Some people are just taking attention, you know. But somebody who, when you're together, he was running up there together. You know you can't do his finances.
No, yeah.
So you know that would definitely affect you. So, you know, when I was like in a smaller place, I had my little flat, I had no children, just me alone. I mean, I had about maybe £1,000, £2,000 to pay around with.
Yeah.
Then it was easy to just pay it. But then when I went to a bigger house, you know, bigger this and bigger that, you know, then I found £500 to the bill. And sometimes I'm thinking to myself, I'm not paying that $5. And I can't even do certain things that I need, you know, like, come on, let's come to a compromise. And she didn't really but now, the main thing I've got to say is the relationship within the kids and the father. Because if you
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Waterloo Pier. We ask if you are leaving the city stop, please do make your way towards the front left-hand side of the boat. We're not going to be here long, so if you are getting off, please do make your way to the exit now. Thank you.
Let me know, like, what are you scared of? And for me, initially, I was scared of like routine, school, and all that. And then this listener was like, I never know my work. So yeah. It looks like training, like diving. Oh no, not the experience.
oh, it's a different kind of talk.
Yeah, so this matter is like last week, so
This is still fresh.
yeah, this little thing I went to my dad. But then he made an appeal to CMS and they reduced the money. So now, yeah, apparently it's earning less. It is what it is.
Now, if you don't pay, they won't give you your passports.
They won't give him his passport. But he has his passport now.
To renew your passports. If you don't pay the CMS, you don't get your passport.
No.
Who have you been on the rock? Oh.
Okay, this was what my stepmom meant.
They will fuck you up, man. They will really fuck you up. Now they're coming for them. Because I think in England you get away with them. In America they will arrest you if you don't pay. You go to jail. Yeah. So many people go to jail because of child support. Over here it's like CMS and it's government and the salary and everything is cool.
Yeah, honestly, I just don't want any fuss. I don't want any drama.
So we are not stuck in the same place. We are not really cool. But then when they message her, they'll say, has he paid? And she'll say, oh, he paid a little bit here, this is it. And she'll say, I don't know, I just send them the bank statement to show them the. Listen.
They don't even ask me that.
But she said she sends them bank statements.
They don't ask me anything.
She said, how much has he paid so far? They never asked her. So he hasn't missed the payment.
So the thing is, he pays. So for a while, it was like £50 because he wasn't working. So I didn't look at it. We just put money in my account and then I'll put it in that was lunch because we have an online lunch now in school. But when they increased it, it was when they started working. But he didn't tell me he had started working. So they backdated it to February.
That's what they do.
And this was now from April. So I was like, oh, so you started working and you didn't tell me. That's good. For me, that's already a break in the trust again. Because if he had told me, okay, I started working, I'm going to increase the money, blah, 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 and
So let me start this.
One person waved back at me. Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me at the back okay? Awesome. Can you hear me okay downstairs? We can see you on the cameras. Well, welcome on board the City Gamma for your cruise this afternoon. As we depart Waterloo Pier, by law, we must give you a quick safety announcement. It's nothing to alarm you, just simply to make you a little bit more aware of the vessel you are travelling on today. We are fully licensed by the Maritime Coast Guard Agency and Port of London Authority to carry up to 399 passengers. There is 55 of you on board. In the highly unlikely event of an emergency, please do listen to one of the 4 uniformed members of crew. Your captain today is Greg. My name is Charlie. I'm the mate on board this vessel. We have Dacia and Chris as well downstairs looking after you throughout the cruise. We also carry all of the latest and up-to-date life-saving equipment. This includes life jackets, life rings and life rafts displayed around the vessel by the international cream and green stickers. Now, by a show of hands, who understood or cared about anything I just said? About 7 people. Well, that works for me. Well, we've got 2 options today, folks. Option number 1 is we can play the company's pre-recorded commentary system. You would have heard it from Westminster Pier across to the London Eye. Or option number 2 is I can stand here and as a member of crew, as an old tradition, point out what some of London has to offer in the form of a live commentary. So by a show of hands again, would anybody like option number 1? Just the captain. Anybody for option number 2? Right. I tried my best. I must warn you folks, I'm not a professional tour guide. I'm just a mate on board this vessel. So if I do get anything wrong, just feel free to keep it to yourself. Alright, but I'm going to try my best and we'll go from there. Now shortly the captain will swing the boat around to the right and we'll make our way downriver towards our next stop, Town. On the left you will see County Hall. Used to be the London Mayor's office right up until the early 1960s. Also on the left hand side of the boat, you will see the Houses of Parliament and Big Ben. Now Big Ben is a nickname for the 14.5-ton belt inside the Queen Elizabeth Clock Tower. It chimes on the hour and on the hour only. However, it's having some maintenance works done for the rest of this year, so it won't chime. It'll only chime on special occasions, such as New Year's Eve, Christmas Day, my birthday, the captain's birthday, special occasion.
Relationship.
There's been a parliament here since the 1800s or so. Now it's the chair to our government. If the flag is flying on top, then parliament is in session. Over to the right-hand side of the boat, you'll see one of London's most popular tourist attractions, the London Eye. Now it was put here in the millennium year of 2000, and it was only meant to be a temporary structure for a couple of years.
I don't know.
Now it was said that the London Eye on the first day of opening made £250,000, so very profitable indeed. It's 450 foot high, and the 32 pods or 32 capsules, they represent the 32 boroughs here in Greater London.
That's why we paid double.
It's also very popular for marriage proposals. I'll let you know how it works if anybody's thinking about popping a question over the weekend. You get on at the bottom with 22 strangers, and you take the 15-minute trip to the top. Now I must warn you, do make sure she is going to say yes before you get on the London Eye. Because if you get to the top and she says no, you'll have 22 strangers staring at you, along with a woman that doesn't love you.
Oh, Lord.
And for those of you that know, like marriage, it is all downhill
From there.
The jokes don't get any better, folks.
Oh,
I try my
yes.
best. Now over on the left-hand side of the boat, behind the chaos that is going on over there, you'll see the Whitehall Court Mansions. It's a castle over on the land. Now this used to be home to the MI5 during World War I, and it was Winston Churchill's offices during World War II. It is now home to the 5-star Royal Horse Guard Hotel. Behind this building every day, around lunchtime, they do the changing of the Queen's Guards. One for the children, the horses, the soldiers, they come out to play. You can watch it free of charge. Just next to that, you've got the Charing Cross Railway Station. Many of the buildings you see around here, they're completely soundproof due to how noisy this station is. Now as we pass underneath the Charing Cross Railway Station, give the people on top of the bridge a wave. The captain will wake the bridge up for you as we go through.
He's laughing.
Give them a wave up there. Now generally if they wave back, they're tourists like yourself, and if they don't, they're Londoners. Very moody people indeed. But you can hear how noisy the station is here.
Oh, no.
Give them a wave again on the other side. Give them a wave up there. There we go. Keep them waving, folks. It stops them from throwing things at us. So keep waving. Now the building on the right-hand side, within the South Bank Centre, is the Royal Festival Hall, put here to celebrate the Festival of Britain in 1981. Now many people have performed within the Festival Hall. Frank Sinatra, Whitney Houston, the list does go on. You can actually walk all the way down the south bank of the River Thames here on the right hand side towards our next stop. I'd highly recommend.
We don't enough.
If we're going back the same way.
Jobs that had once been men's work. When they rebuilt,
On the left hand side, you'll see a tall Egyptian obelisk, a Cleopatra's Needle.
Yeah, that one there.
Now this was given to us following the successful battle of the River Nile from a very kind Egyptian
The
god.
lions are supposed to face.
Now this needle is 3,500 years old, and there's only 2 of them in the world. One is here and one is in Central Park, New York City. Just next to that, some of you may have left there this morning. The building with the green roof is the 5-star Savoy Hotel. Costs you around £500 a night to stay in the Savoy. Now personally, I heard it's worth it because it comes with a full English breakfast. It's worth every penny. This is my favourite bridge here on the Thames. It's the Waterloo Road Bridge. Now this was built by a predominantly female workforce during the Second World War. While the men were away fighting, the ladies did what they do best, and they went out shopping. And they bought the most expensive stone, a Portland stone. Notice how clean the face of the bridge is here, compared to the underneath. Now Portland stone, it has self-cleaning or self-cleansing properties. So when it rains here in London, which is not very often, The rain will wash away the dirt on the side of the bridge. So a very clever design indeed. To the right hand side of the boat, it looks like a multi-storey car park, but it is our National Theatre, home to 3 of the country's finest theatres, the most famous of which being the Olivier.
See the nose piercing?
To the left, the building with the green roof is Somerset House. It used to hold all of the information regarding births, marriages and deaths. Now, like everything else, that is on a computer
Let's go
somewhere.
upstairs, yeah.
But it hosts many popular events, such as the London Fashion Week. There is an open-air cinema during the winter and an ice rink inside during the summer. Now also over to the left-hand side, you'll see one of the most famous, the Blackfriars Railway and the Blackfriars Road Bridge. Take a look at the top of the railway bridge as we pass through. You'll see solar panels from one side of the river to the other. Now these solar panels are a £500 million development for the London 2012 Olympic Games. The solar panels on top of this bridge power up to 75% of the station's daily use. So a very clever design indeed. Now they also call this the Tunnel of Love. They say if you kiss the one you love as you pass through, it will bring you 7 years of happiness. So don't hold back as we go through. If you're not with the one you love, you can try and kiss your husband or your wife. Any single ladies on board, I am available on the open top deck. You'll see where the former Alexander Bridge used to stand, the red brick columns either side of the boat now. Take a look up, you'll see birds on the columns of the road bridge just here. Now behind us is the sea. 60 miles behind us is the sea. Freshwater birds on this side and seafaring birds on the other mark the boundary point. Take a look to the left and the right as we pass through. You'll see them again on the columns. Now you'll see a lot of construction and work going on here on the Thames today. Over here on the right hand side, they are building a £1 billion super sewer system directly underneath this boat. As the population has grown here in London, we've needed a new sewer system. Now the project itself is 2 to 3 years behind schedule. And if you'd like to know why, just take a look to the right. Absolutely nothing is going on. Everybody's got a weekend off. But it's created thousands of new jobs here on the Thames. Many of them underneath, diving in the water. Now to the left, you'll see a red brick building, the Oxo Tower. Now the Oxo Tower used to be looked after by the Vestry family, who created the Oxo Gravy Granule Cube. It is now a 5-star restaurant at the top and luxury unaffordable housing in the middle. You can actually walk all the way down the south bank of the River Thames over here on the left. I would highly recommend it on the weekend. To the right, you may notice rows of green metal lions' heads. These lions hold rings in their mouth, commonly mistaken for tying up boats, but they're actually an early flood warning sign. They say if the water rises to the level of their mouths, the river might overflow its banks. And there's an old saying, see if you can help me finish it. They say if the lions are drinking, then London is sinking. If it's up to the lions' manes, we will go down the drains. And if the lions are well and truly ducked, then London is well and truly flooded. Our children are more folks. But you'll see one of the last remaining blue phone boxes over there on the right hand side. Now if the water did rise to the level of their mouths, the Metropolitan Police would use this to close the London Underground station. We're now leaving the City of London and we are entering the City of Westminster. Temple Arch on the right hand side here is the boundary point. That's just to the stern or the back of the HQS Wellington, the white warship you see on the right. Now this used to patrol the Pacific coastlines. It's now a floating livery hall for the Master Mariners. Now what that means is a drinking club for any captain who has been at sea for 15 years or more. So as you can imagine, very limited members indeed. You'll also see on the right one of the most famous vessels or boats here on the Thames, the St. Catherine, the black and white vessel on the right. Now this is the former Queen's Royal Barge. Right up until the early 1960s, any meetings that needed to be conducted here on the Thames would have been done on this boat on the right, the St. Catherine. Just behind Temple Pier here on the right, the building with the green roof is Somerset House. Now it used to hold all of the information regarding births, marriages and deaths. It's now a listed building, so they can't knock it down. So they host many popular events inside, such as the London Fashion Week. There's an open-air cinema during the summer and an ice rink during the winter inside. Now this is my favourite bridge here on the Thames, directly ahead of us. It's the Waterloo Road Bridge. Now this bridge was built by a predominantly female workforce during the Second World War. While the men were away fighting, the ladies did what they do best, and they went out shopping, and they bought the most expensive stone, a Portland stone. Now Portland stone has self-cleaning or cleansing properties. So when it rains here in London, the rain will wash away the dirt on the side of the bridge. You'll see how clean the face is compared to the underneath. A very ingenious design indeed. Continuing to the right, another building with a green roof. You may have left there this morning. It's the 5-star Savoy Hotel. World famous. Costs you around £500 a night to stay in the Savoy. Now I heard it's worth every penny because it comes with a free English breakfast. Worth it for me, I say. Over to the left, within the South Bank Centre, you'll see the Royal Festival Hall, put here to celebrate the Festival of Britain in 1981. Many famous people have performed within the festival hall. Frank Sinatra, Whitney Houston, the list does go on. The building itself is completely soundproof due to the noisy Charing Cross railway station ahead of us. Can I just check, is everybody still with me? Are you enjoying the live commentary? Okay, I'll carry on. Can you hear me okay downstairs, folks?
This is where we pick it up.
Now the architect who designed the Charing Cross railway station on the right designed it to look like a train coming out of a platform. It's just over there, the green one on the right.
Sorry?
Now if you squint your eyes a little bit and you turn your head to the left, you'll see it looks nothing like a train coming out of a platform. I've got a few of you with that one. Now give the folks on top of the bridge a wave. The captain will wake the bridge up for us. Give them a wave up there. Now generally if they wave back, they're tourists like yourself. And if they don't, they're Londoners. They're very moody people indeed. We'll try that one again as we go through the other side. Give them a wave up there.
I bet it's about Israel or something, isn't it? Yeah, Israel.
Now to the right, you'll see the Royal Horse Guard
We're
Hotel.
not going anywhere near that.
A 5-star hotel here in London. Behind this building every day, they do the changing of the Queen's Guards. A free service for you to go and see. The horses, the soldiers, they come out to play around lunchtime every single day. Now to the left-hand side of the boat, a great photo opportunity. If you are downstairs and you would like to come up and take some photos, by all means. You'll see one of London's most popular tourist attractions on the left, the London Eye. It was put here in the millennium year of 2000, and it was only meant to be a temporary structure. However, it was said on the first day of opening, the London Eye made £250,000, so very profitable indeed. It's 450 foot high, and the 32 pods or 32 capsules, they represent the 32 boroughs here in Greater London. It's also very popular for marriage proposals. I'll let you know how it works. You get on at the bottom with around 22 strangers, and you take the 15-minute trip to the top. Now do make sure she's going to say yes. Otherwise you'll be stuck at the top of the London Eye with 22 people staring at you, including a lady that doesn't love you. And for those of you that know, like marriage, it is all downhill from there. Just next to that on the left is the County Hall, the former London Mayor's office right up until 1964. It's now home to more important things such as Shrek's Adventure, an aquarium, and my favourite place, a McDonald's. Now the captain is slowly making his approach towards our next stop, Westminster Pier on the right. In front of us you will see the Houses of Parliament and Big Ben. Now Big Ben is a nickname for the 14.5-ton bell inside the Queen Elizabeth clock tower. It chimes on the hour and on the hour only. Now it's having some maintenance works done, so it won't chime now until next year. There's been a parliament here since the 1800s, and it burnt down when someone left a candle alight inside. It was rebuilt in 1834 and it still stands today. It is the chair to our government. If the flag is flying on top, then Parliament is in session. Now some say with all of that scaffolding around it, it has more support than our current government. But who knows? Now as we make our approach to the pier, a little bit of travel information for you. We'll remain alongside Westminster Pier for 5 to 10 minutes. I know many of you are getting off here. We may pick a few passengers up. This boat will then make its way back downriver. And finally, just to finish up, a little bit about the live commentary. As mentioned at the start, and as you can probably tell, I am not a professional tour guide. I'm just a member of crew on board here for your safety. But it's a bit of an old tradition for a member of crew like myself to come out here and provide a live commentary. We get much better feedback when we do, and hopefully it's made your trip a little bit more enjoyable today. Now if you have enjoyed the trip and you'd like to show a token of your appreciation, you can do so at the exit gate. We put out our Captain's Silver Champagne tip bucket. You can chuck in there anything you like. Of course this is completely up to you. You can chuck in there a few bob. Now if you're not sure on what a few bob is, I'll tell you. It's any loose change you may have. Wedding rings, cameras, phones, watches, single girls' phone numbers, you name it, we take it. I'm only joking. Of course, this is completely up to you, but hopefully you've enjoyed your trip. Thank you very much for listening, and have a nice day here in England.
Imagine the Americans would be doing
That's demonstrating it. Go over to Israel. It's a green country. It's a green light country. Go over there and demonstrate.
Based on what you just said, I think this might be the perfect bridge. If you're on Parliament, you know, they're only going to allow you. You know how magnet fishing is? So you can put a big magnet, you know, on a rope, throw it in there, and then sometimes come on the road. But if you go on YouTube, I watch those videos, some of the things you find it all safe. Yeah. Bicycle, gold, even guns, the most common thing I find is all these people are playing, and they put guns in the rosary, in the bag, they tie it up, and they put it in the nose of them, so you get it. I just paid that. I guess that's the